And we have a lot of questions for him after this weekend on the beginning of Sanity Week between the Phillies and Mets. From On Patterson, Tim Kelly joins us. Tim, good morning. How are we?
I'm good. Good to talk to you guys again.
It's always great having you on. And right away, we talked about it a couple segments ago. What will the Phillies do now that Trea Turner will miss some time? Is Kyle Schwarber back in the leadoff spot, or do we see Rob Thompson get creative?
I would anticipate Kyle Schwarber's in the leadoff spot, but we'll see against righties. Maybe they try Bryson Stott again there since he's played well recently. But, I think Kyle Schwarber, personally, I'm not sure I ever would have removed him from the leadoff spot, but certainly Trea Turner's done a tremendous job being a table center this year.
Can you ask me, well, you're a baseball man. You cover the team. Can you tell me why you wouldn't have moved? I hate it, quite frankly.
Especially now with the results that we've seen of him not batting leadoff.
Well, I mean, they won a lot of games with him leading off. I think if you told me at the beginning of the season you got this version of Trea Turner, then it makes sense. But, Kyle Schwarber, you won a lot of games with him. He was comfortable, and I do think there's something to you lead off the game and you're winning 1-0.
Yeah,
I like being up 3-0.
I'm looking at the 120 runs batted in going into with 3 weeks left. But he's been in a bit of a slump. Do you see anything? I mean, you've seen some slumps out of him before. This one's a little prolonged and at a weird time.
It is, because outside, he was struggling coming into that 4-home run game as well. So it's kind of on the bookends of that amazing performance. You've seen some struggles. So I think with him, you tend to think he's going to be fine. He's like the definition of a player that shows up in game one of the playoffs, and no matter what's been happening, he's going to perform, and you don't worry about him. And for most of the season, he hasn't been mortal. So I think that's why it stands out. It would not shock me in the least today, whether he's leading off, whether he's hitting second, whatever, if he comes out and has a statement game today. So of any player in the majors, Kyle Schwarber is one of the ones I worry about the least.
We obviously don't know the extent of the injury for Trea Turner, but how careful do you think the Phillies will be, considering the injury he dealt with last year and considering we're in the final month of the regular season? They pretty much have the NL East locked up. They would like to have the first-round bye. How careful will they be with Trea Turner?
I would imagine very careful. Now, it is the opposite hamstring as last year, which, you wonder to some degree whether that's related, because sometimes when you injure one leg, you put more pressure on the other leg. But, yeah, I think they're going to be extremely careful. It just depends on what the severity ultimately ends up being with this injury. Like, Kyle Schwarber had a hamstring injury last year, and he missed the minimum amount of time. He missed 10 days, and he was fine after that. But Kyle Schwarber's game isn't predicated on speed the way Trea Turner's is. So I think there's two things here. A, how long is he out? And then B, when Trea Turner comes back, what version of Trea Turner do you get? Because you've seen it this year. The version of him that's using his legs is by far the most valuable. Last year, understandably, when he came back from a hamstring, he was a little hesitant to use his legs. So not only when and will they get him back, but what version of him are they going to get back?
Tim, we were having a conversation earlier on in the show about Bryce Harper. It got into a little bit of a back and forth. What have you thought about Bryce Harper's season so far, and do you think he's giving them enough of what they need?
Well, certainly with Trea Turner out, they're going to need more from him, but I generally think that he's had a good season. Certainly since he came back from the injury, I think he's been better. Now, the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think he's been a little bit colder, but he kind of goes into that Schwarber category of when it ends up being the big point in the year, you think he's going to come through and have big hits. So you're certainly counting on that, especially if you're without Trea Turner. But I think he's continued to adapt well to playing first base. And, yeah, it hasn't been peak MVP Bryce Harper, but I still think there's been some very productive stretches.
How is Nick Castellanos handling this platoon mentally? How will it continue throughout the month of September? Do we see it in October? And how quickly is he not a member of the Phillies organization this offseason?
Well, I think that's the key thing. Like both sides to me are motivated to hold this together for the rest of the season. I think it's very difficult, even with him making $20 million and the realization you're going to have to eat a substantial chunk of that. It's difficult to me, given where things are, to imagine this going on for another year, because I don't think the Phillies are going to say to him in the offseason, yeah, whatever happened this year, we're going to guarantee you play every day. You're never removed for a defensive replacement next season. And if they're not going to do that, then he may want a change of scenery. But ultimately, I saw in Miami this weekend to Scott Lauber, he basically said it's about the team, like kind of what I think we would have expected him to say previously. Mm-hmm. He said that this weekend. So I get it. He's frustrated, but his performance kind of dictates how they've gone to this point. And the fact that Max Kepler's played better, that Harrison Bader has made an impact, it's the right move. And I think as long as they continue to play well, regular season playoffs, whatever, going with this platoon works. I know people don't like platoons, but the Phillies don't have Gary Maddox and Shane Victorino and Jason Worth in the outfield right now, so they got to get creative.
Yeah, that's what says part of the change of what they need. What do you think about the performance of Taijuan Walker, and what do you think about the other Walker Buehler, and do they really think that he could potentially help as a starter or a reliever?
Well, I mean, Taijuan Walker has been significantly better than a year ago. I still would have a difficult time imagining him taking the ball in the postseason. So it's a remarkable story, his turnaround year to year, but I still think he's more of like a regular season fill out 162 games. Walker Buehler, the performance from what I saw over the weekend was not great, and as great as he was at one point with the Dodgers, since the second elbow surgery, you've now had 2 full seasons, and I get he pitched well in the playoffs last year, but his ERA is over 5. So it's worth, because you're so thin on pitching depth, taking a flyer right now. You go to the 6-man, you help preserve Suarez and Luzardo until the playoffs a little bit, but I mean, this is hope for the best, but I don't have high hopes necessarily on what's going to come. We'll see.
We'll see. Tim will
put high hopes in there.
He did put high.
Hey guys, Andrew Salciunas, host of Kincade and Salciunas. Just want to thank you for checking out all of our great videos that we have on our YouTube channel every single day. Make sure, if you can, please like and subscribe and check out all the videos that we have on our YouTube channel, whether it's for us, Kincade and Salciunas, of course, our midday show, as well as Unfiltered with Bill and Ricky.